Good afternoon, and welcome to the United Nations. It's not frequently that we see so many young people, and of course, welcome to the ambassadors who are with us today. Today is a special day. We'd like to thank and welcome Malala Yousafzai, who will be in a conversation with the Secretary General António Guterres. Today is a special occasion, special opportunity that we have not only young people in the room. The event is being webcast live on Facebook, YouTube, and other channels, so we would like to salute and welcome the audience watching us. I know that a lot of young people are watching this keenly because not only is Malala the youngest person ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize, she's also going to be the youngest person to be appointed as UN Messenger of Peace. So without... This is with the intent to highlight the importance of education, special education for girls and young women. Without further ado, I would like to invite the Secretary General maybe to make a few comments, and then we will be handing over a certificate to Malala to do the designation.
Dear Malala, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it is for me a very emotional day to be here with you. You are the symbol of one of the most important causes in the world, probably the most important cause in the world, and that is education, education for all, and particularly, because we know it's more difficult in many societies, education for girls. Now, I must say I am a frustrated ex-assistant professor of physics in my university. And when I say frustrated, because I wanted to be a professor, but with the revolution in Portugal, I had to close all my papers and dedicate myself to other things. But there was always this nostalgia of being a professor, and can you imagine what it is for a frustrated professor to be facing the most famous student in the world? And it is an enormous pleasure to have you as our messenger for peace. You are not only a hero, but you are a very committed and generous person, and a person that has this fantastic quality, a Nobel Prize recognized everywhere, and you keep the same simplicity, the same open way to deal with all of us. People usually, when they get all these honors, become a little bit, I would say, full of vanity, become difficult to access. And you are this fantastic example of friendship and simplicity that really makes us very, very, very appreciative. And on the other hand, you have been going to the most difficult places where education has more problems in becoming a reality. You have visited several refugee camps. You have 2 schools of your foundation in Lebanon, in Bekaa Valley, where so many refugees are. I've spent 10 years of my life dealing with refugees, so you can imagine how happy I am to be able to confer to you the important responsibility of being a messenger for peace. I am a total denial of protocol, but I think I have to read something here, no? They also gave me a speech, but that I was not able to read. But I think now I have here to read this is your assignment. Today, I am proud to designate you the youngest ever United Nations Messenger of Peace with a special focus on girls' education. And this is the official designation. Inspired by your dedicated service to the ideals and objectives of the United Nations, especially its vision of a life of dignity for all people, admiring of your courageous defense of the rights of all people, including women and girls, to education and equality, honoring the fact that you have shown, even in the face of grave danger, an unwavering commitment to peace, conscious of your consistent focus on the best in humankind and your resolve to foster a better world, grateful that your example has energized people of goodwill to join together in pursuit of our common values, hopeful that your principled activism will advance our shared vision of a future of justice, equity, and sustainable progress. It takes great pride and pleasure to me in proclaiming Malala Yousafzai a United Nations Messenger of Peace.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Malala, would you like to say something? You want to come here? Or you can also use the microphone from there. You can come here.
Hope you can see me through this. Yeah, that works.
Take this.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in the name of God, the most merciful, the most beneficent. Assalamu alaikum, hello to everyone. I'm really honored to be the messenger of peace. And I stood here on the stage almost 3.5 years ago when it was my 16th birthday and it was my first appearance after the attack. And I stood here and I gave my speech and I told the world that education is the basic human right of every girl and that no child should be denied this right. And I stand here again today and say the same thing, that education is the right of every child. And especially for girls, this right should not be neglected. If we want to go forward, we have to give education to girls. And once you educate girls, you change the whole community, you change the whole society. So I'm really honored to be getting this award. And secondly, I want to say that I'm getting this award, but I also want to represent Pakistan, my country, because I want people to know that this is me who's representing Pakistan, not the extremists, not the terrorists. They are not Pakistan, they are not us. It is girls like me who stand in that country, who believe in education, and it is girls like me who are Muslims, who are proud of their religion, who stand for education, who believe in education, and we tell the world that all Muslims, all Muslim girls, they believe in education, they believe in peace, and they'll stand up for their rights. And I'm hopeful, and I encourage all young girls there that you need to stand up as well, you need to believe in yourselves. And you are the real change makers. If you do not stand up, change will not come. If you want to see your future bright, you have to start working now. You should not wait for anyone else. Our leaders will keep on talking to them. They may not be listening, but what we need to ensure is that we start working on it now. It is not that we have to grow up and we have to be something tomorrow that we bring change. It starts with us, and it should start now. So once again, I'm honored to get this Messenger of Peace, and thank you so much to all of you for your support.
Thank you, Malala. That's incredibly inspiring. And now you can see why we have chosen her. We're so lucky that you have accepted, Malala. For the interest of time, I know that probably everybody in this room wants to ask a question, but we have asked 6 young people because we want the priority to go to young people to ask questions. May I call on Maria Mardini? Is Maria here? No? Sorry, Sarah.
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, so you have the first question, Sarah.
Yeah, of course. Okay, first I would say I'm honored to be here today because me and you, we share the same story. We survived from a war at the end. And my question is for you. I've been forced to flee war in Syria. My sister and I swam 3 hours in the ocean to bring our sneaking boat safely to the shore. And I became a refugee. And now I plan to advocate for the rights of the refugees and build them school in Lesbos. My question to the Secretary General and Malala, in your travels to refugees camp and host countries, what do refugees girls tell you about their education, our hopes for the future? And thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. So I have been to many refugee camps, and I've been to Lebanon and Jordan, and I have met the Syrian refugee girls. And life is quite difficult. Life is quite hard. You are living in tents. There's often no electricity. You are living in either it's really warm, either it's really cold. There's lack of facilities. But what you see is still hope in the eyes of these young girls and boys that you see. And I have met amazing and incredible young girls. And when you ask a Syrian refugee child, what is your dream? And they would tell you that I want to be a doctor or a teacher, and I want to get my education, and I want to go back to my country and help rebuild it. So that is their dream, that is their passion, that they want to go back to their country. They want to see peace in their country, which is something that we take for granted because we are living in peace every day. But that is their dream, that they want to go and serve their country and get their education. But life in refugee camps is very difficult. We can't even imagine it for a single day. But when we were in Swat Valley, when there was the military operation, we had to leave our home for 3 months, and we were internally displaced. And I still remember the time because I was going with my cousin to her school. We would walk every morning for half an hour. I didn't know whether I would be able to go back to Swat Valley or not, but I wanted to continue. I wanted to learn something, not to waste my time. And I still remember the time when every morning I would wake up and I would wonder, like, when would the day come that I would be able to go back to my home, to go back to my school? And the same is happening to all these refugee children who are hoping every day, when would the day come that they would be able to see their homes? And there are some children who have been living in these refugee camps for their whole life, and they don't know where their home is and why they have to be born in these refugee camps, why they had to leave their homes and their countries.
I just want to
Yeah, it's working.
add one thing. In Lebanon, only half of the Syrian refugee children can go to school. Worldwide, only 2/3 of the refugee children have access to primary education, only 1/3 to secondary education, only 1% to the university. And this shows how little the international community is doing to educate refugee children, and how high is our responsibility, especially in the richest countries, to express our solidarity to all those that unfortunately cannot provide to their children the education they have the right to receive.
Next question. May I call on Betsy?
Yes. Is it working? Yes, I'm here. So I'm going to introduce myself, and I'm very thankful for Malala to come here today. My name is Betsy Pijazaka. I'm a 17-year-old high school senior, and I'm planning to study political science next year in college. Me and my friends who are sitting next to me and behind me have started this fundraiser called Girls Helping Girls, and we're raising awareness about women's education in third world countries after reading the book called Half the Sky. So my question to both the Secretary General and Malala is, what can girls like us do to advocate the education of girls around the world, the importance of it?
Well, firstly, I thank you for all that you are doing already. It is important that girls realize that their action and their voice is important, and it is needed right now. Because when I was young, when I was little, I used to think that I had to grow up and get a lot of degrees and one day be like a proper adult, and then I will be able to bring change. But I soon realized that no, you don't have to grow up to bring change in your community. You can take action right now, and you can bring change to your community right now. And whether that is using social media, which is a very powerful tool that young people have access to right now, raising awareness through that, or ensuring that you encourage your world leaders to give full attention to education and investment in education. Also, you can follow the work that we do through the Malala Fund and how you can get involved in that. You can visit our website, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and so on. So there are lots of ways in which you can get involved. What is important and what is needed the most is passion, is ambition, and is believing in yourself that what you do really matters.
Nothing to add. I couldn't have said it better.
Thank you. I think young people, you have to realize you're the largest generation of young people to have ever been on the planet, and you are also much more connected. So use that to your advantage. Zafira Rahman?
Hello.
Yeah.
My name is Zafira Rahman. I am 14 years old and a student at the Young Women's Leadership School in Astoria. One day, I'd like to become a biomedical engineer. My question for both the Secretary General and Malala is, what advice would you give to your younger self about achieving your goals? And thank you for being here today.
What advice would you give a young person, to a younger self, about achieving your goals?
So like when we were young. So when I was young, well, I started giving advice to myself when I was very, very little, and I would listen to these conversations that my father would have with his friends, and I would always sit with adults, and I always thought I was mature and I was old enough to have opinions and things right from the very beginning. I never felt young. And people now say like, oh, when you were young, and I say, really, I was young once. So I think I would just tell myself that believe in yourself, believe in your ideas. We often think that we are young, so our ideas are not that mature yet or not at the level to be implemented, but your ideas are important, your thoughts are important, and believe in them. There are often very, very adult and older people who have ideas and they don't work. We can see evidence in the world of how much mess is there. There is the clear evidence that the things they are doing don't work. So believe in yourself, come up with great ideas, join your communities, like do the work now, get involved, and try to, the resources that we have, try to think of cleverer ways that we can use this technology and the new resources that we have in a better way to help everyone in the community.
I will answer not about the young, but about the old. And I will tell you that I hope that when I will be old, I will be able to keep the same passion for learning and studying that I still have as a young man.
I now call on Chloe Weinstein. When it's ready, you can talk. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. First, just want to say what an honor it is to be in the same room as you. My name is Chloe Weinstein. I'm a senior at the Abraham Joshua Heschel High School and a founder and the president of my school's Girl Up Club. My question for the Secretary General and Malala is, when you face challenging situations, were you ever scared or regretted standing up for your beliefs, and what kept you going?
Well, for me, the most difficult time was living in the situation of terrorism in Swat Valley, which was from 2007 till 2009. Now things are much better. But at that time, it was the hardest time because we were at a point of making a decision whether we should speak out or whether we should remain silent. And what I realized was that if you remain silent, you are still going to be targeted by these people. You are still going to live in this situation of terrorism for your whole life. So it's better to speak out because you do something from your side. You try your best. And so I decided to speak out. But that was the most challenging part. And then the second point for me was when I was attacked and I woke up in this hospital in the UK. And I remembered my last exam in Swat Valley and then just suddenly waking up in Birmingham. I don't remember the incident. I don't remember what happened in between and my whole treatment or anything. And I did realize that, yes, I have been attacked because I'm in this hospital and these people are speaking English, so it must not be Pakistan. It is a different country. And so that was also a very challenging moment because I had to stay strong. I had to take a decision, a strong decision, how I want to live the rest of my life. And I realized that the extremists tried all their best to stop me. They tried to kill me, and they didn't succeed. And it is a clear evidence that no one can stop me. And this means that now this is a new life, this is a second life, and it is for the purpose of education. And since then, I have decided to work for education, and today here, being a messenger of peace with special focus on girls' education is a clear evidence that I will continue working on girls' education.
I think this is a remarkable example. I mean, so many of us sometimes are afraid to speak up just because we are afraid not to look nice or that others might be angry. What a fantastic example when someone is able to speak up with the risk of their own life.
Thank you, Secretary General. So next on my list is Nima Lama. Is Nima
Hello.
here? Yeah.
First of all, thank you for inviting us here. My name is Nima Lama. I live in New York, but I was born in Nepal, so yeah. I recently realized students must stand up for a change, so I started a project advocating for female education with my fellow friends sitting next to me. My question to the Secretary General and Malala is, how did you choose your career path, and what would you say to high schoolers like me who want to pursue this field?
How did you choose your career path, and what advice do you give to schoolers like myself?
Well, my career path isn't very clear. I want to study PP, which is philosophy, politics, and economics in university. So I'm in the final year of my school. I have final exams coming soon in May and June. So I'm very tensed and really worried and really nervous. So I will go to university, and it will be a 3 years course, and then after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I'm just like many of you who have no idea what to do in future. But one thing I'm sure about is that I'll continue working through the Malala Fund for Girls' Education. That is something that I have already decided and that I will continue to work on.
Well, you know, I don't know. That's my answer. I started studying engineering because I wanted to study physics. I loved physics. And then there was a revolution in my country, and I thought that, well, physics is very interesting, but the people was needing something more effective, and I became a politician. And then at a certain moment, I felt that political life had done what it was possible. I joined a humanitarian organization. I think we always need to be ready to do what we feel is at the same time the right thing for us and the right thing for us to be able to contribute to the global good.
Thank you. So, Hoshi Gandhi? Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Kushi Gandhi. I am a 16-year-old student from New Jersey and the president of my school's Girl Up Club, as well as a passionate advocate for girls' rights, as you are. Malala, your father has played a strong source of strength as he believed in girls' education. So my question for the Secretary General and Malala is, how can fathers, brothers, husbands, and other men get involved in the fight for girls' education, especially in developing countries and in low-income families?
Thank you. Well, my father is here, and I would say that the role of men and fathers and brothers is really important, because there were so many girls just like me in Swat Valley who could have spoken out, who could have come forward and raised their voice, but the problem was that the men in society did not allow them, their brothers did not allow them, their fathers did not allow them. And what is different in my story is that my father did not stop me. It wasn't that I was very intelligent or very clever or I had some special kind of training or something. All I had was a father and a family who said, yes, you can speak out. It is your choice. I think that's what we need. We need brothers and fathers and all men in the family to let women be who they want to be. And my father says that, don't ask me what I did for Malala, but ask me what I didn't do. And I didn't clip her wings. So men should not clip the wings of women and let them fly and let them go forward.
I think it's important to recognize that everywhere, there is no exception for this, we live still in male-dominated cultures. And everywhere, men tend to have more opportunities than women in most of the aspects of life, and especially in politics and in the management of big companies and in all those areas where power is relevant. And I think it's important that men and boys understand that this is wrong, not only for them, not only for the women, but also for the world. Decisions taken by political leaderships that are simultaneously of women and men will tend to be much better than decisions taken by men-only groups. They will be much more in favor of peace, much less trigger-happy, as I would say. And on the other hand, it is important for the well-being of everybody that women play a more important role in our societies. Now, I have to confess that I have another reason. As I have only 3 granddaughters and no grandson, women's empowerment became a family cause.
Thank you. Esra? Is Esra here?
Hello, my name is Ezra Akasha. I'm a third-year high school student in Paterson, New Jersey. My question to Malala is, what do you plan on studying in university, and how will it help advance your work for girls' education worldwide?
As I mentioned before, I want to study PPE, which is philosophy, politics, and economics. And I chose these subjects because I'm already studying them at my A-levels, and these subjects really connect, especially philosophy and politics, and then you study about the economy. They really interlink. And for me, it's important to know how the economy works, why their poverty exists, why is that some people have more resources compared to others, and how we can ensure that there is more equal distribution, and especially that we reach to the most neglected and the most deprived part of our society. And with that comes education, how can governments and how can countries ensure that education is given to every child and that no child is deprived of this basic human right. So I'm hopeful that studying this would help me in my future work, and then focused on Malala Fund as well for my future work. And that's it. But it's really hard to decide what you would be doing in the coming years of your life because you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Malala. And we have one more question, and then I'll turn over to questions from other people in the audience. Ria?
Thank you. I first just want to say that I'm very thankful to be here, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity to ask a question. My name is Ria Sani, and right now I am a senior at an all-girls high school in Manhattan. I am also a coalition director for Girl Up. My question is for Malala. What do you believe are some of the misconceptions people have about the relationship between feminism and Islam?
I'm glad it's not for me.
I think about feminism, people often forget that this main idea of feminism is equality. When I think of feminism, I think of equality. And I should not hesitate then to say that I'm feminist, because I do believe in equality. I do believe that men and women should have equal rights. And I think there might be some groups that people would say, oh, this is a bit too extreme and this is against men. But I think we need to come together and we need to say, no, we believe in equality and we are feminist, and so we need to come forward and show the real face of feminism. And I think men also need to come in that and participate in that. So like my father, he calls himself a feminist. So I think if all of us if all of us say it proudly that we are feminists, I think people will, with the passage of time, they will accept it. About Islam and about Muslims, I would say that I feel really disappointed to see on media how the way Islam is portrayed. And there are 1.6 billion Muslims in this world. And I don't know, every day they hear the report and say that there are Islamic terrorists and there are Islamic jihadists and they're fighting in the name of Islam. And then people blame the whole Islam. And I think that's really disappointing, because if something happens and something is done by one Christian and people then blame the whole Christians all around the world, or something is done by one Hindu and people blame all Hindus all around the world. That is disappointing. But I think what I would say that the true message of Islam is peace. The word Islam itself means peace, and the first word of the Holy Quran was Iqra, which means read. So education, learning, getting knowledge, discovering new things is the key part of Islam, which we often forget. So when I come here, when I stand here, I'm a Muslim, and I'm proud to be a Muslim, and I'm fighting for my education. I'm fighting for my basic human right, which Islam has given me, which as a human is my basic right. So I think people should look at me, people should look at all the other Muslims, the 1.6 billion Muslims who are living in peace, who believe in peace, rather than looking at a few terrorists. So I think, but for that, Muslim people also need to unite and stand really strongly against the extremists and against the terrorists, that they are not us. We don't believe in anything that they're doing.
Thank you. And I think it's important to stress here that the actual greeting in Muslim countries, whether they speak Arabic or not, is Al-Salamu Alaikum, which is may peace be upon you. I think that's the core of what the religion was about. So now the floor is open. I would like to first recognize, of course, we have with us and have had with us the Deputy Secretary General. And of course, the Permanent Representative of Pakistan. So the floor is open for questions from the audience. Okay, please come here.
Hello, everybody.
Wait until it's ready. Go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Sir, Malala, and everybody else here. My name is Dr. Shruti Kapoor, and I'm the founder of an organization called Safety that works with young women and girls' safety. So, Malala, you have officially made the transition from an adolescent girl to a young, you have come into the category of the youth now, the 1.8 billion young people that are there in the world. Will you continue to advocate for youth? You started your journey with girls' education, but now that you are in the youth category, what is your plan going forward for the youth in terms of their education and their rights? Thank you very much.
I think when it comes to women empowerment and when it comes to women's rights, I don't put a limit. For me, it is the education that is the key message, whether that is girls or boys or any age. Education is the key message. But I definitely believe that empowering girls especially is so important for society, because when you educate women in a community, it changes that society completely. It changes brings changes in terms of the economy, makes standards of living better, reduces early infant mortality, improves the lives of women as well. So that is the key message, but I think, yes, definitely engaging with the youth is also important. And I think youth has a very important role to play. The young leaders, this is your world, and you need to come forward and make it better for everyone. So, yes, definitely.
You want to add something? Okay, this young lady here. I would like to see some questions from men and young men. Come on, guys. Please.
Hi, my name is Nadine Clopton. I'm a youth representative for an NGO called Caring and Living as Neighbors. Our focus is on health equity for children in the LMICs. First, I just want to say I'm honored to even be in the presence of both of you. You both truly very inspiring people. My question is, how do you suggest that NGOs and other grassroots organizations working throughout the LMICs do end up reaching the most hard-to-reach populations, the most marginalized populations, with agendas such as the SDGs, and to ensure that no one else is left behind?
Thank you so much. I think in order to reach the most deprived and the most neglected communities, it is important that you work with the local organizations. And it is the bottom-up approach that you need in this situation. So through the Malala Fund, that is our strategy, that we find local advocates, local champions. And for that reason, we introduced the Gul Makai Network initiative, where we empower and encourage and support the local advocates. And we have Gul Makai champions from Pakistan now, also from Afghanistan and Nigeria. But this idea initially came from what me and my father were doing in Swat Valley in Pakistan. We were speaking out, we were local advocates. And now when I look back and I think that there would be many more people just like us who want to bring change in their community. So it is important that we reach to them and we support them, whether that is financially, giving them advice, training, any other support. So that is what we are doing through Malala Fund. And I think in this kind of mission and goals, if NGOs come together, I think, because in NGOs usually the goal is the same, they have the same objective, so working together, sharing their knowledge, their experiences, the information with each other, supporting each other, that is crucial, but also like what they have learned, sharing that as well, and this idea of reaching to the local advocates would be really important for that.
I'd just like to add one thing. I think NGOs can play two very important roles. One is the role that they play in educational projects. And I have testified in my life, civil society acting in the most remote areas, in dangerous circumstances, making sure that children could be educated. But NGOs have also, and the civil society have also a very important role in advocating with governments to make governments understand that investment in education must be the priority of priorities. And many governments are not conscious of that, especially in these times in which we are living that have security as a major concern. Many governments are not giving to education the kind of priority that is necessary. And it is not possible to replace the government's commitment to education just by initiatives of civil society. It is very important to force governments to fully assume their responsibilities.
Thank you. It's a young man there. Yes, you.
Hi, it is my honor to be here as a young man here. And and I have a question for the Secretary General, sorry, Malala. I found that I have been intern here for a couple of months or years, and I found that UN is not very kind for our young people here. And yeah, you can see. And because for the intern, we get no paid. We really sacrifice our family support and sacrifice our hours to work here. And in Geneva, we have some interns who also live in tents. And we also got news from the media that says UN will promote a strategy that make the position will be more senior for more senior peoples, and at least 28 years old. So do you have any plan to change it, to make an improvement? So Malala, as a 20 years old child, at a 20 years old student, they can apply.
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I have to say that this is an area where I have mixed feelings. In UNHCR, I worked for 10 years and we had many interns. And I have to say that even interns were not paid, it was absolutely impossible to find places for the because it was a remarkable experience of getting contact with the realities of life in aspects that were very relevant for their lives. On the other hand, if you pay interns with a normal salary or with you really destroy that feeling in that approach. Having said so, I also recognize that that creates a situation of unfairness, because only those that have some kind of income or because of their families or because of their governments can become interns, and others have not that possibility. So I would prefer to have a system, and this is something that we have been discussing, in which internship should remain as it is, but we could have, for those that have no resources to do it, a special kind of scholarship, like we have scholarships for universities. But it's not an easy thing to convince those that especially have to spend the money for that. But I would preserve the nature of internship as it is, creating some mechanism to allow for full equality in the access to that mechanism.
Thank you, Secretary General. So we have One last question, and I recognize the youngest person, I think, maybe in the room.
I have a question for Malala. Do you feel like you've seen any difference when you, like now and when you started to stand up for women's rights to go to school and to have a good education? Do you see any difference?
Any difference, like in my opinion about education, or?
Yeah, like, is there any difference? Like, do you feel like you're happy because ever since you started to be an activist that women and girls got a better right to go to school? Do you see like any difference, and are you happy about that difference?
Have you seen any change?
Well, thank you for your question. Yes, I think that is why we ask for education, because education brings change in the communities. And I think the best example I can give is my mother. When she was only 6 years old, she sold her books, she got some candies in return, and she never went back to school. And that was the end of her education. And now when me and my father were advocating for girls' education, she also has passion to learn and to get her education and to be independent, because now we are living in the UK, and when she goes out, she can't speak English, she can't communicate with people, she can't go to a supermarket on her own, she can't go and see a doctor, and that was a big challenge for her. So she started learning again in the UK, and she started taking lessons like English learning and some other skill that she was trying to develop, understanding how to talk to like a doctor in a supermarket, and things have changed for her in this 1.5 year. And now she can go to doctor on her own, she can go to a supermarket on her own, she's not dependent on anyone in the family. In fact, we are all dependent on her because she manages everything, including things for my father. So that is the change that has come in her life, and now she's in Canada. She went all on her own. No one was helping her at the airport. So this is a big change in her life. And I think that is the power of education that we see. Things that we take for granted because we know and we are so used to it, and we have the things we learn in school. But for someone who hasn't been to school, to be learning these things, and I just see clear evidence. Like, I just see the change that education can bring, the independence that it can give you, the empowerment that it can give you, the confidence it can give you. So education is a real change maker.
Thank you, Malala. I really regret not calling on every single one of you. I know that you all want to ask a question, but we have a limited time with the program. I know the Secretary General has a schedule. Secretary General, do you have any final comments to make?
I'll just make one final comment. I think, Malala, your life is a remarkable example of solidarity. But I've seen that solidarity in your country since I started to work in Pakistan 12 years ago. We live in a world where so many doors are closed, and so many borders are closed to refugees. And refugees, you spoke about them, are probably the most vulnerable people. Well, Pakistan has received more than 7 million Afghan refugees, with borders open, with doors open, with hearts open, with an enormous generosity. So I see in you the symbol of that generosity. And I hope that others will learn in the world that it's not closing our doors that we'll be able to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary General. Thank you.
We're going to move locations, and we'll want to bring you together as friends, okay? Yes. We'll come back. I'm sorry? Yeah, so we have to get out. So you know, we need to just walk straight out. That's okay. Otherwise, Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.